Okay, this is the last talk, then you are off. And I think maybe one of you will have the idea to bring up a registry in your country, because this is the most precise way to check the performance of implants and procedures. And my last talk now will be short, but bilateral. I will speak about the simultaneous bilateral procedures. And at that time when the talk was started was 2018, and at that time we had more than 600 patients with simultaneous bilateral Optimys implantation. Meanwhile, we have more than 1,000. Yeah, and can we go on? So, is this a good idea to make bilateral short-stem THA? So, we want to answer this question. What we need for this? We would prefer to have it in a minimal invasive surgery, and we have easy technique. If you have short operation times, you don't fear this type of procedure. Little blood loss, and we want to reconstruct the anatomy like in the unilateral side, and we need a stable osseointegration. So we use this round the corner technique. We use anterolateral approach, but patient supine. You know these pictures already. We published all the minimal invasive surgery in total hip arthroscopy with my colleague Professor Siebert, who was the second developer of Optimys. And the thing is that the blood loss and transfusion rate, this is a publication from Austria, it's much less so this was a publication from Austria, and the conclusion of this publication from Hochreiter was, compared to patients after straight stem, both blood loss and blood transfusion rates were lower in patients after short stem THA. So for unilateral cases, we don't even have blood prepared nowadays. Yeah? And we see the reconstruction possibilities. And go over this now. We looked in the follow-up one-stage bilateral versus unilateral short-stem total hip arthroplasty, comparison of migration patterns using a special technique, and you see there is no difference in migration pattern in the unilateral. So even if they are forced to put full weighted. So we have good clinical results. And this is a video which shows bilateral cases in our hospital. At that time, we had 6 patients at the same time. And you see them a few days after surgery. The man on the right is 4 days after surgery. We keep them 6 days in hospital. Yeah. And if you can we try to once again, you see they walk from beginning on symmetrically. And rehabilitation is easier if you do both at the same time. Yeah? Okay, this is the entrance hall of our hospital. So one last time, because they only walk short. They all have to short stem, Optimys, Vitamys. Yeah? Okay. So the guy on the left, he doesn't use the gauges. He walks just. Okay, so what happened? We got much more confident. And you see the annual rate when we started Optimys 2010, before it was only a few cases. Now the annual rate of bilateral simultaneous hip implantation in our hospital is 140 and more. And the surgical technique is that we do one side, finish one side, then we go to the opposite side and start with the opposite side. And because you don't have any problems with leg lengths because you use the same implants on both sides, and people are very happy. So we made also a study with 54 patients. These were the first 54 patients where we put in a prospective study. And if you look at the data, you see that the early rehabilitation, the pain at rest dropped very fast. Pain at load took a little bit longer. Satisfaction was high from beginning on, and the Harris hip score nearly 98 at 5 years. So very promising results. So in this prospective study, we had complications. We had no stem revision, but we had a small piece of the greater trochanter by a retractor was damaged, but no clinical malfunction. We had one DVD treated successfully, one pronounced hematoma, and one seroma. And at that time, it was the only disadvantage. We had a transfusion rate of 13%. Later on, nowadays, we are down with the transfusion rate for the bilateral simultaneous hip by 2%. Because we have new concepts for example, we use now tranexamic acid, and we have a blood, we use the blood once again, and so we are down to 2%. After 5 years of these 50 patients, 2 had been died unrelated to the procedure, and only one patient was lost for follow-up. And so 151 remained, and all 51 patients would proceed exactly the same way if they would have to decide once again. So this, what is good for the hospital also, these go out and they send you other patients. So meanwhile, I get personally patients from all over Germany who come for the bilateral simultaneous implantation. So now finish. Thank you very much.
Cảm ơn. Thank you so much for your presentation, the last presentation.